Oh, it's so nice to be here. This place is gorgeous. Your campus is so beautiful. You guys are so lucky to live here and be here. I'm so impressed. I want to move here. I'm really all about leaves and greenery right now. I feel like I need more green leaves in my life, and this place is incredible. So thank you for having me. Everybody's been so sweet. Okay, so we're gonna play a little PowerPoint slideshow, so I think you guys can start that if it's working. Did we get it to work? I think so. So if it is working, we can play the first slide, which is, yes, okay. That is my dad in a baby blue Adidas jumpsuit, which is like now cool, right? I wish he still had it. I would wear it every day. And then my mom, she was on Chips. And that's the Rolling Stones guy with my dad. So my dad managed actors. He was an agent and managed actors still. And my mom was an actress, so she auditioned for my dad, and that's how they met. All my friends' moms were all jealous of my mom because she got to make out with Eric Estrada, the guy on the bike on the Chips show. And my dad is still upset about it. He can't, anyone brings up Eric Estrada, my dad's like, don't mention his name. But anyway, so born and raised in Los Angeles. Oh, is people here from LA? Whoop, whoop. Nice. Nice, nice. So it was just kind of normal to grow up going on auditions. I worked for my dad, and so I just began acting from a young age, which I think is not really healthy when you're going on auditions when you're really young, and you're like, hey, what about me? It's so unhealthy. I definitely don't want, I have a 1-year-old baby, and I don't want to put them through that. But that was my story, and I'm super grateful for it because God definitely used it for good, and I'm so, so, so grateful for it. So you can go to the next slide, which shows a little bit of my history. So I did this horrible movie that went straight to video, and the girl that won the Academy Award last year, Brie Larson, was with the pom-poms, and I was the brunette one with the glasses, and they cut our faces off and glued them on other people's bodies, and we were like, oh, thanks for that. It wasn't even like you could airbrush what we had to work with. Like, no, let's just cut off their bodies completely and stick other bodies on their faces. And so we were like, wow, this is really messed up that people are comparing themselves to these images in magazines and billboards and movie posters that don't even exist. They're not even real. So we started this website called loveyourflaws.com. It was all about body image issues. So went around the world, and I took literally thousands of pictures of people holding up signs that said things like, my cellulite is hot. My acne is sexy. You can go to the next slide to show some of them. Cankles, I love my cankles, or cankles are the new black. You could kind of go through all the rest of the slides. I literally was obsessed with this subject. I took thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures. And my chemo-fried hair is beautiful. My scars saved my life, etc. So when I was doing music, I was writing songs about what I saw kind of behind the scenes in that world. And so my first album was called Flaws. And so at my merchandise table, everything at the merchandise table said, love your flaws. I had bags and t-shirts and keychains and everything about that subject. So you could go to the next slide. So as you could see, I'm a very professional jewelry maker. That's my airplane tray. So I have my cuticle clippers and my tweezers. Any of you girls, I don't know, do you keep it in your car? Because I do. I always keep it in my glove compartment, or the drink holder, and I always have my tweezers, just in case. You never know. If the sunlight hits and you're just like, I got my tweezers, I'm prepared. So I had them with me. So I decided to make some jewelry on these plane rides. So what happened was I was on tour, I was in New York, and the hotel room key, I thought it was really cool. So I put it around my necklace and got compliments on it. So I was at a locksmith one day, and the person in front of me got numbers engraved. And I said, for their apartment number, I said, do you have letters by any chance? Can you engrave love your flaws on this New York hotel key? Because I was obsessed with this subject. So he said, okay. So then I saw on the side a bunch of old, used, discarded keys that were just kind of going to waste on the side. And I said, while you're at it, can you engrave hope on one and peace on that one, fearless on this one, breathe on this one, let go on this one? Just, a bunch of words that just came to mind. So he did. So he charged me $8 per key. So it was $5 to do the engraving, and then $3 for the key, so $8 per key. So then I just started giving them as gifts to friends for birthday presents and everything. And then I was like, oh, I should make these and sell them on tour at my merchandise tables. So did that. So I made like, bracelets and necklaces, like you can see from that picture. And then every night they would sell out more than my CDs. So I was like, oh, thank you. Thanks for coming to my show, buying all these key necklaces. But I knew that people were really resonating with the words on there. And that was my favorite thing about tour. I don't enjoy getting up and performing. That's definitely, a lot of people really like that, especially in LA. So when people move to LA because they want to be in front of people, and I really do not like it. I love writing songs about issues, kind of when I'm by myself and crying, going through something, and knowing that somebody's going to listen to it and hopefully that they would get touched by the song. And so, yeah, on tour, that was my favorite part, is after the show, talking to the people at the merchandise tables and kind of hearing what their story, what word that they want, what word that they, and I would encourage them. I think you need fearless. Or if they're going through a breakup, I was like, you need let go. Here, hold, let go, let go. Raise your hand if you love breakups. Love, yeah, just kidding. I know they're the worst, right? Okay, you can show the next slide. So organically, very, 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 very organically came up with this whole pay it forward concept. And it was just really just after listening to people, like, okay, it's not just about you. Don't just, embrace your word just for you. Yes, get a word that you need in your life, but it doesn't stop there, right? It's not just about what you need in life. Keep your eyes open to all the needs that you see around you with people that are hurting, whether it be your barista or your mom or a friend or somebody that you just meet at a party or in class or whatever. And whenever you feel like you have that aha moment, like it's time, okay, I've embraced my word enough. I've owned my word enough. I've sat with the word fearless for a few months now. I've hopefully kind of not only embraced it, but kind of like I've overcome the reason why I got this key. Now it's time to pass it on. So pass on your hope, pass on your peace, pass on faith, pass on strength, pass on courage. So people then started writing me on MySpace at the time, the stories of why they gave their key away. MySpace, woo, yeah. Love MySpace. Not really. But anyway, it's fine. I just haven't looked at it in, years. But anyway, so this dates that this was almost 10 years ago. So I was definitely not trying to start a social enterprise. I didn't even know what that meant. I had to Google it a few years ago once they started, once people were starting them. This was genuinely just something that I felt like people needed. So people wrote me on MySpace like, I just gave my key away to somebody who's about to commit suicide. I just gave my key away to somebody who was, slitting their wrists. I gave my key away to a fight key to someone who was in cancer. They had cancer and they were in their cancer ward. So then that woman who was fighting cancer gave her fight key to another woman that was fighting cancer. And then the cancer ward emailed me ordering more fight keys for everybody that was being treated. Okay, I gave my key away to somebody who was in, Haiti on a missions trip, and here's a picture. Okay, I gave my key away to someone who's going through a breakup or lost their job or was being bullied or had an eating disorder. And I was bawling my eyes out all the time reading my MySpace inbox of all these keys being passed around the world. And I was like, wow, these little tokens that seem so insignificant are really powerful and are really touching people's lives. I was like, I should make a website so other people can read the stories other than my mom and I. So made a website. It was horrible. I don't even think it really worked, but I asked someone and they connected me to this guy and he made it for under $100. It really wasn't good, but it did the trick. And so, but I knew there was a missing link. And this is one of my favorite things to kind of encourage people, that I didn't have the full kind of vision. I didn't have a business plan. It was just kind of like, okay, this is step one. I know this is special, but I know there's more. I don't want to settle. There's more. And I could have settled because that's quote unquote good enough, right? It's good enough that you have a key with a word and then you pass it on, pay it for, and then write the story. That's already like one step kind of above or higher than just like a normal jewelry, like a necklace that you just buy and that's about it. But I knew that there was more. I knew I wanted the money to go to some sort of charity or something, but I didn't know what. And I had a ton of friends that had started nonprofits, so I easily could have been like, okay, 10% goes to Saving Innocence, or 10% goes to Invisible Children, but I was like, no, that's not right. There's something more. There's something better or something that it's supposed to be, and I don't know what it is. And I waited for literally at least a year, maybe even 2 years. And one day I was walking on Hollywood Boulevard. I left church by myself, and I left crying. It was like a movie. I was like raining, and I was crying, and I was like, God, what else can I do to help people? I want to help people. I don't know what to do. And right then, I saw a homeless couple, and they were under an umbrella, and I wasn't thinking about the Giving Keys at all, and they were holding up a sign that said, ugly, broke, and hungry. And so I went up to them. I was like, why does your sign say that? And I got their life story. I fell in love with them. I was like, you know what? I'm going to cancel my plans. I'd love to take you guys to dinner. So I took them to dinner. We got, steak and salmon, and we just talked for hours, and I fell in love with them. They were raised homeless on the street. Their parents still live under a bridge in San Diego. And again, I was not thinking about the Giving Keys at all. It was just about human-to-human connection, and I just wanted to encourage them, and I was just so curious about them and their lives and their story, and just wanted to love on them and pray for them and all that. So 2 hours into dinner, I said to the girl, I like your necklace. It was this gothic-y, wiry thing. And she's like, oh, thanks, I like making jewelry. And I was like, oh, this is my aha moment. You are the missing link to the Giving Keys. Do you guys want to be my business partners? And they were like, what? Who is this crazy lady? Okay, sure. So the next day, I went to the locksmith, bought the engraving equipment. Then I went to Pet Boys, bought the hammers, and so I started paying them to engrave the keys instead of the locksmith. And then little by little, they started saving up enough money to stay in a motel. Because when I first met them, they lived in a dumpster in a cardboard box. Literally, I went to different dumpsters, and I would always pick them up in dumpsters, and it was so, so sad. So they saved up enough money, stayed in a motel, then they saved up enough money, and they got their own apartment. And I was like, wow, this is working. And I was just selling them at my different music shows and just hustling and trying to sell them at different random birthday parties and events. And I was in high school, the barista at Fred Siegel, this swanky place, and so that was our first store. I just went in and hoped the buyer would realize that I was wearing 20 keys around my neck. And one day she's like, well, what are those? Those are fabulous. I was like, oh, these? Oh, funny you should ask. Well, I'm trying to get this one homeless couple off the street by selling these keys. And I made her think like it was her idea. And she's like, we should sell them here. And I was like, oh, what? That is a great idea. I never thought of that. Okay. She's like, what's your wholesale price? And I was like, I don't even know what that means. So whatever you want to sell them for, it's fine with me. So started selling them there. Little by little, this first original homeless couple couldn't keep up. So then I started going around. It was not sustainable. I was just going up to people trying to hire more people on the street. My parents were always worried about me. Little by little, trial and error for years, literally it was years. We partnered up finally with different transitional homes and nonprofits around the issue of homelessness, like PATH, People Assisting the Homeless, and United Way, Downtown Women's Center, Chrysalis. So now they screen people for us that are trying to transition out of homelessness. And now we've been able to create over 75 jobs for people that are trying to get off the streets. So I think we have some pictures of some of our team. Oh yeah, that was Rob. That's a video. We can skip that. It's showing how he kind of would package some of the keys. I got some street smarts, and he's like, yeah, this is how drug dealers package drugs, and that's how they package the keys. I was like, thanks. Good to know. Yeah, this is one of our first trainings years ago at PATH, and then some of our team, we have a little Airstream. And then we have this whole bell ringing ceremony when people transition from the nonprofits that we hire them now through. And then they transition to our full-time payroll. I love this. Working for the Giving Keys helped me save money to get my own apartment. There's another couple. They actually met engraving keys, and they fell in love and had a baby. So it's a Giving Keys baby. Yeah. Okay, let's see what the next slide is. I think we can skip the video since we don't have that much time. We could skip Darnell's video because I'm already out of time. And so basically, yeah, we've partnered with everybody from Tom's and all these places, been featured in all these really cool places. And we did a partnership with Starbucks last year, which is crazy. And we're in Nordstrom, all that. So we're in now thousands of stores. And you could just slide through the rest. Different vibes of the keys. Nearly 80 years ago, a psychologist named Viktor Frankl stood up to Sigmund Freud. Freud was saying that the primary desire of man was to pursue pleasure, but Frankl disagreed. He said the primary desire of every person was to experience a deep sense of meaning, and when they can't find meaning, they numb themselves with pleasure. Okay, let's go to the next one. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. This is my favorite quote by Mother Teresa, that it's not about, I always have been the type of person, I want to change the world, but it really is about that one person. If you can't, if you can't right away just go and, solve the problem of homelessness, it's really about having that one conversation. Who knows what conversation or idea that will spark. And look at all the injustices that you guys see around you in your community. Maybe you hold the key to someone else's freedom. Thank you guys so much. And I think we're gonna do a little Q&A. I could just go, I just had to shut it off, but I know I was out of time.
No, you did an amazing job. Can we thank Caitlin one more time? I think we're gonna sit down for just 2 minutes together.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a little bit of a Q&A. Thanks so much. And just spend a few seconds. Caitlin, you just recently, you got married a few years ago and recently became a mom.
Yes.
Your son's name is Brave, is that right?
Brave, isn't that the best name ever?
It really is. Do all your kids have to have really short names so that the names can fit in a key?
Yes.
Is that the rule?
Yes, if we have a girl, which I really want to have a girl, I want her name to be Love. Like a bunch of hippie babies with Love, Brave, Hope, Faith. Hope and faith and grace, I feel are more common now. So I feel I want it to be a little different. Maybe Fearless. But then that would be weird to call it, for short, you call them Fear, and that's not good.
I think if you name a kid Fearless, that's asking the bully to beat your kid up.
Yeah.
Let's see if Fearless can live out his name. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Plus, it wouldn't fit in a key. There'd be fear and then the word less on the other side. Yeah. And then sometimes the key, all it'll show is less.
Fearless is actually, we have Fearless keys. They're some of my favorite. I have to wear them a lot because I'm fearful of sharks and spiders and a lot of other things. But Fearless is one of my favorite.
I love how in your story, so much of it was just when in the beginning of Giving Keys, it was basically a one-man show. I mean, you were the one going to UPS, you were the one making the keys, and then it grew. And now there's so much to do. I can't imagine what it's like to be, the CEO and the founder of something that big. Throw into that mix being married and being a mom now. Tell us how you balance that in your life.
Well, when we were talking about it in your office a little bit ago, you were actually saving my life. You were preaching, and I was yes, I like that. What you said, I need to do that. Because what I usually say is I'm just trying to find the balance, but I never actually do find the balance. I feel I'm constantly failing at everything right now. I feel when I'm at home, I should be, when I'm with my baby, take care of my baby and trying to give time to him and my husband, that I'm kind of not being as helpful with the team, with the Giving Keys, and I feel that's my baby also, and they need me there. But when I'm there, I feel I should be at home with my baby. So I feel I'm constantly never doing enough. And so when I'm constantly trying to find the balance, quote unquote, what you said earlier, which really, really helped me, which I guess one of your friends had said, no, sometimes it's actually not about finding a balance. Sometimes it's seasons of this is a season or a week or a month where you're focusing on work and putting out fires at work. And then there's a week or a month or something, you're I need time off work so I can fully, give time to my family. And I just decided Fridays are my self-care days because I was realizing that if I was either at work or taking care of baby and all that, and I was exhausted running on empty. And so Fridays are now my self-care days where I will go either take a hike or go to the dry cleaners, take a yoga class or journal or read and just have time to myself, because I realize I really need that, because if I'm not filling myself up and caring for myself and my needs, then I have nothing to give everybody else.
Yeah, so you would definitely say that as our students walk into just full-time jobs and then on top of that, managing family, that it's vital for them to find margin in their life, and Fridays is typically when you try to find that margin. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Tell us about Brave. What's motherhood like? And
oh, he's so cute. It's honestly way harder than I thought. I was never a baby person. When other people would always say, I can't wait to be a mother, or I can't wait. I love babies. I was always is something wrong with me? Because I'm not. I was more just want to change the world, and so I was always but this generation. And I would always think globally and generation. Like I can't imagine putting all my passion into just one person. And that has been an adjustment for sure. But I mean, I've never in my life felt as much love. It's otherworldly love. When I look into his eyes, it's mind blowing. So I'm so in love with him. He's the cutest little thing ever. But it is definitely a lot more challenging than I thought as well.
Yeah, that's, I think, what a great example you are to him, that you're just making your life count to do a lot of good for a lot of people and ministering to people. Tell us about the Beverly Hills Performance School. I mean, I can't imagine going to a school where all these people are in there, in the arts, wanting to be about performance, looking for a platform all the time. What was that like for you, being a part of that school?
Yeah, it was definitely, I was around a lot of people that were like, I'm a thespian, you know, and it was like all about the craft and the art, and that's great, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful, important thing, and I think, you know, movies and TV shows and the arts, it does really speak to people in really special ways, but I was never that type of person. I was never like, I love this because of the art of it, and I'm a thespian. I was literally, the only reason I wanted to do things in the entertainment field was because I wanted to have a platform to be able to talk about issues that I was passionate about. And I think a lot of the time, because my dad, he managed all these super famous people that were, you know, winning all the Academy Awards and on the cover of all the magazines, and they were super rich, and they would just buy new cars and buy new handbags and buy new shoes, and they were miserable. And there was just this emptiness. And so I knew that whatever, if I got to the end of whatever the goal that everybody has in this space, that's not gonna fulfill me at all. It's just, okay, you have money and you're miserable now. I don't see the appeal. So for me, it was always about wanting to have that platform so I can talk about issues that I'm passionate about, whether it be homelessness or eating disorders or bullying or, so many different things. And that's why I wanted to write songs about all the different issues that you could possibly go through on this journey of life. Yeah.
One piece of advice to an audacious 19-year-old in the room. If you could go back and you were 19 and you could give yourself one piece of advice to a college student, what is one thing you'd say?
I would say listen to your gut, your knower, your like peace-o-meter. I think whether it be a career or a relationship you're in or whatever it is, a major to a relationship, you have that like peace-o-meter knower in you that's like, oh, this feels not right, but I'm gonna keep going anyway because, you know, whether it be pressure or whatever it is, like, no, listen to your knower, listen to your little peace-o-meter. I think, or even if it's an injustice that you see in your community, whether it be kind of it could be as small as where you live, like your roommates, an injustice you see in your house, or your community. Listen to your passion, listen to your heart, and follow that. And if you're going to be a nurse or if you're going to be, a lawyer or whatever it is, whatever that injustice that you see in your community, you can take that injustice and you really can make a change, whether it be incorporating it into your business or taking your weekends and serving somewhere where you're not getting paid to do it. I think it's just, you're not gonna, I don't think people can really be fulfilled if they're just kind of doing their 9-to-5 job and they're not really giving back in any way. So I would encourage everybody, whatever your business or profession that you think you want to be, keep that. Like, challenge yourself to feel empathy, I think. You know, when you see, whether it be somebody who's homeless or a girl who's just crying about whatever it is, challenge yourself to care. Challenge yourself to feel empathy and to feel what they feel and think creatively, what can I do? What can I do to help this person? Again, it's not about, waiting for this big, huge thing to happen. It's just about one-on-one, person-to-person contact. So if it's on a huge scale, awesome. If it's one person, then amazing. Like, even for me, it's so hard when I read kind of all the stories of where the Keys have gone. It's great, but sometimes I don't really feel it. And what I prefer and what I love, what I realized is when I just have that one conversation with somebody and they tell me, just when I can see their actual eyeballs of how much this key helped them, like, that's what it's all about to me. So whatever that is for you, whatever you're studying, it's all about, like, when you're having a conversation with somebody and you're feeling that empathy towards them, like, what can you do with that to kind of infuse that into your life's work.
That's fantastic. You know, it would be just bad stewardship if we didn't ask you at least to sing one, maybe two songs. We've got a few minutes for that. You started songwriting with Babyface, and then eventually he signed you to his label. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
And any more music coming up in the future? Or?
Not really. I mean, I'm still signed, but I never turn in songs. And so my label's always like, when are you gonna turn in songs? But then I got pregnant, and I was like, I can't be pregnant and playing guitar. That just looks weird, and I can't, where do I put my guitar? And then I have a baby. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's my big priority right now. And also, I think with writing, I feel like all the issues that I was so passionate about, I already wrote songs about those issues, and now with a baby, it's kind of like I don't really know what to write about. Like, oh, so much poopy diaper everywhere. Like, I don't know, like, or like I have so many emails. Like, I feel like I don't know how to write songs about how like that the things that I'm actually dealing with now, like and like being overwhelmed by my email inbox, like doesn't make for a good like single, you know?
Yeah, I think your single inbox could be a really big hit.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all want to hear Caitlin sing a song for us? We'd love to. Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. I think they're getting out your stuff for you.
Okay, I think I will sing this song "Flaws" that I wrote like 10 years ago. But I think I wrote it over 10 years ago, probably when I was your age. That makes me feel so old. But I still feel like I'm 12 inside. Like I either say I'm 12, I feel 12 inside, or 24 inside. But I wrote this song, when I was about y'all's age. And thank you so much. And I had come home from an audition, and you know, you're just being kind of scrutinized and picked apart, and I took off all my makeup, and usually when I would write songs, it would take like a few different sessions of sitting and wrestling with it, but this song came out just all in one sitting, and I just cried the whole time. And I made a video, and I edited it together for about 10 years of all these just different pictures that I had taken. And I just sat there and I thought, wow, you know, as messed up and flawed and imperfect as I feel, God, I know you're the only one that really sees me and knows me and appreciates me. And I think it's really cool how it kind of ties into the keys, how maybe we all feel like keys. Maybe we feel flawed, discarded, old, damaged, thrown away. But, you know, we really are all one of a kind, just like these keys. We really are unique and special. So I love that tie-in. So I hope this encourages you. Here I am, here I stand. Took a picture of my hand. Bet you can tell it's not manicured. Here I am, half a man. I'm not a doctor, I'm not 10. And I never helped the score. And I drive too fast, the team pick me last. I break the rules and like it. My body curves, I forget the words. I miss the serve and lost it. All my flaws to see. But you still love me. Here I am, face down, sometimes I smile, a frown, but it depends on the time of the day. Here I go off the road to spend cash on my clothes when I still have bills to pay. My skin isn't clear, I haven't spoken a year, 'cause I still have fear I'm trying to overcome. My truths aren't right and my jeans are too tight. When I pick a fight, I turn and run. All my flaws to see. But you still love me. Even when I sin, I don't fit in. 'cause I've been burned when I waited my turn. Don't act my age, don't want to call it a phase, call me taboo. Won't do as I'm told to believe. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So all my flaws to see, you still love me. Thank you guys so much. So nice to meet you guys. I'm excited to hang out with you guys. I'll be over here hanging out, so it'll be an honor to meet you all. God bless.